Hello and welcome to Nick's Naturopathic Journal. Joining me on the program today is Elliot and Amanda, two of my fellow classmates and the founder of the Entheogenic Research Awareness Club here on campus. So first off, welcome. Glad to have you guys here.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
You got a beautiful new spot to record today. And so how about we just go ahead and dive right in. So why don't you guys start by telling me, what is entheogenic medicine?
So the word entheogen literally means to cultivate the divine within, and it's used to describe sacred medicines, whether they're of indigenous plant or fungi tradition or of modern synthetic chemical, that facilitate healing by altering one's state of consciousness. And so a few examples are MDMA, psilocybin, ayahuasca, peyote, ibogaine. There's many.
Awesome. You got anything to add?
Well, in emotional, I think the term, like emotional trauma, like these medicines have been shown to be really incredible with uncovering and healing emotional trauma, and which fits so perfectly into naturopathic medicine. If physical symptoms have at their base some kind of emotional trauma or emotional imbalance or spiritual imbalance, these medicines can help get to the real root of those issues and can really facilitate some really amazing healing.
Absolutely, and what research is showing today is that it's that mystical experience which entheogens are capable of inducing that really is where the healing takes place. And there's an awesome example from a recent Johns Hopkins study where participants with terminal cancer who had depression and or symptoms of anxiety were given just one active session of psilocybin, which is the component in magic mushrooms. And after just one treatment session where they were directed to turn their senses inward and just focus on internal experiences, they 92%, is that right?
92%.
92% had a clinically significant reduction in depression and anxiety.
Which that's greater than 50%, greater than 50% reduction in symptoms, yeah.
So
that's spectacular.
Truly remarkable, and they found that the people who experienced the greatest depression and anxiety relief were those who had the most characteristics of a mystical experience, which includes ineffability or the inability to describe the experience, as well as transcendence of time and space, things like that. So it's a powerful experience that, like, some people are listing as one of the most significant in their lives.
Right,
Wow.
and just to reiterate, so they saw that like with increased mystical experience, they had increased healing.
Yes.
And I believe it was the same study that found that those results, those positive results, were largely sustained for 6 months out from a single treatment. Now, so they dipped a little bit, but largely sustained after 6 months from a single intervention, which is unheard of in the conventional.
Yeah, I mean, that is all just spectacular. I mean, certainly nothing else really comes anywhere near 92% of patients feeling better after one treatment. And I think that's very interesting and very naturopathic how you guys talk about, it has something to do with this spiritual component of us. It's kind of like thinking about treating the whole person, physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally. And again, that's kind of like what we mean when we're talking about treating the entire person. It doesn't just include all the different body systems. And well, gosh, I mean, the mystical experiences are the main factor that made the difference between the benefits, the amount of benefits that these patients received.
Well, I don't know if to say the main factor might be an assumption, at this point, just based on the knowledge. But the correlation is there, so you can't separate those. What else is going on? Maybe we don't know, and maybe we'll never know. But yeah. It seems that without the mystical experience, you don't have, the same kind of healing.
Right. Of course, correlation does not equal causation, but when it appears in numerous studies, that's when you start to really look at that. And the correlation in the Johns Hopkins study, at least, especially for anxiety, I think they had a p-value of like 0.0001, which is incredibly statistically significant.
Conversely, really, so there, and there hasn't been much studying done on microdosing, but microdosing is, you can see a lot of articles out there. It's the latest fad in Silicon Valley, and with folks with anxiety and depression or for creative problem solving, Currently, I know like James Fadiman, who PhD, who wrote the Psychedelic Explorer's Guide. He's currently undergoing a study, and it's not a clinical trial, but they're having folks who are doing microdosing with certain doses, writing in about their experiences, filling out the questionnaires, and so they're in the process of collecting that data. But the idea of microdosing is a sub-perceptual dose, and so you don't get that mystical experience. You ideally don't feel much of anything in terms of any kind of what could be construed as a high or a buzz from the medicine, but you have beneficial effects that are very measurable, and they last long, right? So this, you might have 6 months of a sustained benefit from a big, one treatment of a larger dose, where these microdoses might last 2 days. So they'll be they're doing that on every third day schedule. They'll take a microdose off the next day, do it again. So you do still, so it's like a smaller scale, and you don't have that mystical experience, and you still do get the healing. So yeah, it just kind of colors that issue a little bit.
Yeah, and it'll be really interesting to see when the research starts to come out about that, how that works and how it affects people.
Okay, awesome. So, well, I think that's all the time we have for today. Just a quick recap: entheogenic medicine inspires the divine within. It's a lot of spiritual medicine, but there are may also be referred to as psychedelic medicine. But of course, we just talked about microdosing, so there are ways to use it without having any sort of perceptive anomalies or psychedelic experiences.
Sure.
Is that the right way to put that? And still get some effects. Of course, it's kind of depends on your situation and what your practitioner knows how to do, and et cetera, et cetera. But that's all stuff that we'll get into. Thank you for tuning in to the program today, and we'll see you next week. Take care.
Bye.